Good afternoon, esteemed traders and investors. Today is Tuesday, February 24th. I present to your attention another market review for InstaForex. As always, I'm glad to be here with you today. So, let's move on to the news. Today is Tuesday, and as for important news today, the Consumer Confidence Index in the United, still without Iran, States of America will be released at 1800 Moscow time. Let's take a look at what we can trade on the charts. Let's go. So, let's start with gold quotes, which confidently set new highs at the market open yesterday. The important level for some traders is $5,120 per troy ounce, and it continues to trade higher. We caught part of this move, but for now, that's it. Weekly signal. For the most part, it has played out. The weekly range has been covered, so we're looking for new patterns and not touching this wildly growing instrument for now. The euro-dollar pair. The euro-dollar pair yesterday on the daily chart did not close very well from the perspective of the longs we are expecting. But daily setups are an entirely different story. We had a rather interesting long setup that unfortunately did not end up playing out last week. Now we've seen this impulse and we were actually able to catch a good portion of it. And now the instrument is trading in a range. The area is actually quite narrow. On the 4-hour chart, we've basically hit a wall. Right at this long setup breakdown, which has already been tested many times. Well, the first time was a test in the moment. We caught it. It was a news-driven impulse. Friday's impulse pullback and then a third wave across the level. Yesterday there was a good test of this zone. The price moved up quite well from there, about 300 points, and then it deflated again. The Asians sold off once more, and this long trend, which could have potentially continued to develop along this trend line, but it eventually broke down. But from a selling perspective, I was, of course, fully expecting them to push it a little bit higher first, just to have the opportunity to close out the position. And here is the reason for this price, but America didn't provide a test here, which is very strange, but the market always falls faster than it rises. In principle, it is still possible to see growth from this zone, but strong impulses are needed, and so far there are none. You can monitor them within the framework of even the nearest trend line, which essentially means waiting for a clear impulse and a breakout. The instrument can grow from here and recover all the liquidity debts it left behind in this specific area. That is, all of this is untouched. Here as well, everything is untouched. It's all very strange. We expect the price should come here, and our task is to identify potential long side setups in order to capture this movement. The British pound US dollar pair is also currently showing some signs of weakness, but let me remind you about the specifics of this instrument. Just like the euro dollar, it is in the long breakdown zone, which has already been tested several times on Friday, yesterday and today. But the pound is holding up much stronger than the euro. It looks and holds up, without showing a downward trend over the past 2 days so far. As for the Australian dollar, it is also correcting. It too is set to move upward, but a short-term correction could still occur.
Looking for real trading advantages? InstaForex offers the lowest spreads and commissions. On major currency pairs, our conditions are better. Lower spreads and only $5 commission instead of $7. That's real savings for every trader. And now, let's get back to the market review.
The US dollar to Canadian dollar currency pair is currently rising, and here the overall situation is actually much simpler than with the previous two instruments we discussed. There is this kind of sluggishly sloping platform forming here, which could potentially be broken out to the upside quite soon. Additionally, there is a specific zone for a short breakdown, which can be used specifically as a strong level of resistance for opening short positions. Ideally, of course, this scenario would be the best scenario for selling, but for an upward move, you can expect about 1,500 points. But it could happen that after these sellers are taken out, the instrument might lose momentum and reverse through a false breakout. In any case, this zone is very interesting for selling within the context of a major drop in the instrument. Looking at this scale on the daily time frame, you should be seeing it falling and falling further like this. However, the dollar-yen pair did not actually follow our expected short scenario. Yesterday, there was a test of the short breakdown. We dropped by 600 points. Those who trade 1-to-1 took their profit. Right now, the instrument is rising and taking off. It is heading straight into the zone of the major short breakdown, which we marked by the drop at the beginning of February. It would certainly be interesting to catch it going down here, and the potential would be simply enormous. Well, you could easily scoop up at least 4,000 points down here. There is a platform here where whatever falls from above the pair, short breakdowns. And you know about this. As for oil is not correcting towards a long breakdown. It's quite expensive, There haven't been any new military or political events around Iran. That's why the instrument is holding steady. Bitcoin crashed again today. It didn't retest the short breakdown yesterday. But let me remind you, the instrument tends to fall much faster than it rises, usually during panic. So we are waiting for new developments regarding it. For now, even during the decline, it isn't testing its own short breakdowns. It's simply plunging into the abyss, punishing those who buy without stop losses.
I also want to remind you that every InstaForex client automatically receives loss insurance. For every $1 of compensation, only $4 of your friend's investments are required. Just submit a request, and your losses will be recovered. Let's continue with the review.
As for the American stock market, the S&P 500 index and Nasdaq, under the influence of a strengthening US dollar, are feeling rather gloomy. Yesterday, there was also a significant short-selling initiative. By the way, here we saw one of the more interesting short breakdowns, which happened through a false breakout. There are people who believe in selling. Unfortunately, such people do exist. You can use it as a reference point. Here, we've already had some tests as well. This particular sequence of short breakdowns cannot be permitted to proceed, as it could disrupt the rapid long-term trend. Now, dollar franc. The strengthening of the US dollar is directly benefiting this instrument. At this exact moment, the chart is holding a couple of significant long breakdowns. Take a look right here at the lower one. Let's go ahead and draw this out using the green tool like this, then another one like this, and finally a third one just like this, marking them clearly as 1 and then 2. You see, it's holding gradually, forming a kind of staircase, and it could very well trigger the seller's stop losses in this zone. For now, that's the situation. But the stronger US dollar is helping this instrument, which is currently oversold. It's incredibly cheap right now.
With InstaForex, you can triple your profit. For every $4 of your friend's investments, you automatically get an extra $1 added to your profit, with no extra conditions.
Canadian dollar franc. In this grid strategy, we wait for lower prices to set up limit buy orders. Australian dollar, Canadian dollar, limit sell orders above current prices with a step of 1,000. New Zealand dollar, Swiss franc, waiting to buy lower, avoiding this zone for now. Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar is also gaining momentum. We're waiting for a corrective move, quite a deep one, at least to the nearest level. This is the mirror level here.
We also have a great offer. Fund your account and get a 30% tradable bonus. Trade with additional capital and expand your opportunities with InstaForex.
Euro Australian dollar is also falling. We're waiting for higher prices to either set up a grid of limit buy orders or to accumulate every 1,000 points. Euro Australian dollar is in a range, by the way, and it's putting a lot of pressure on this support. It looks like the euro will fall not only against the dollar. We need to keep this in mind for the Canadian as well. But silver is pushing upward for us. On the 4-hour chart, we didn't get a test of the long break, but if it happens, we'll definitely get active here. Friends, InstaForex offers a free consultation with a personal trading consultant. Follow the link in the video description, fill out the callback form, and gain access to exclusive offers and special trading conditions. BRT Plus for risk-free trading. That's all. Trade with InstaForex, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for new reviews.